Let's predict everything happen in 26. So right here we have the safe states characterized for the Republicans and Democrats. We'll be working with the likely lean and then finally tilt states. We'll start with the likely blue, just going to be the one, that being the state of Minnesota. One more seat in the Democrats column. Next up, we're going to go to the likely red column, likely red states. There's going to be a few of these, starting out with South Carolina. I think this is fairly confident call in calling South Carolina for the Republicans. It is a fairly impressive feat. The Democrats were able to narrow it up from safe to likely. That doesn't happen all the time. So that's going to be the call there in South Carolina. Next up, we have Montana, which I'm going to be doing the same designation for. One more seat in the Republican Party's column, 45 to 44. Republicans need 5 more seats. Democrats need 7 of the 11 states that have yet to be called. So we'll now be going, I think that we'll have one more state in the likely red column, that being Florida. Florida used to be the biggest swing state and definitely a swing state. It has since moved further to the right in the era of Trump, and I think that this midterm in 2026, Democrats may overperform than 2024. I think is certainly likely, but I don't think it'll be enough to win the state. I could potentially see it going down to a lean red margin, but for now I'll keep it at likely red. Then we're going to head over to the lean blue states. There's going to be a couple of those, starting out with Maine and New Hampshire. I'm actually on New Hampshire, but the state of Maine, we'll come back to that one. For now, I'm going to put it into the tilt blue column, but that's going to be the call there in New Hampshire. As far as Maine goes, going to fix that. There we go. There was somewhat recently a scandal came out for the Democratic candidate in the Senate race in Maine who is facing off against Susan Collins. So I think that will bring the race from a lean blue to tilt blue, but I still think it'll be a Democratic victory. That's going to be the call there in Maine and New Hampshire. Back to the lean blue states, we're going to have the state of Georgia. Going to put that into the Democrats column. This is an incumbent, Ossoff, who is running for re-election. He has a strong fundraising aim and has brought big crowds for his rallies, and I think that the most likely is that this remains in Democratic control, and Jon Ossoff wins re-election. And then we're going to go to North Carolina, which I'm going to put into the lean blue column as well. This is a very impressive feat. This is the second flip of the prediction. This seat has the Republican incumbent is retiring, and currently because of that, neither party has incumbency advantage. Democrats have a great candidate in Roy Cooper, who is probably going to do quite well election. He was a fantastic pick. Former Democratic governor of the state of North Carolina, knows how to win on the statewide level, and he's won in environments that have been less favorable to Democrats in the past. So if you can do that, I think you can win North Carolina in 2026. Next up, we're going to be going to the lean red states. There's going to be a few of those, starting out with the state of Nebraska. I'm going to put that into the lean red column. This state is a bit of an interesting scenario. There isn't a Democrat running against a Republican in this race. However, there is an independent, and Dan Osborne has largely gathered support from Democrats as well as independents and moderate Republicans. He ran for the other Senate seat 2 years ago in Nebraska and ultimately fell short, but he did significantly outperform the Democrat on the presidential level, that being Harris in 2024. So that's going to be the call there in Nebraska. I think it'll still be a Republican hold. Next up, we have Iowa. You can put that into the Republican Party's column as well. One more seat for the Republicans. The rest of these, I think, will be in the tilt column. Starting out with Texas, I'm going to put that into the tilt red column. This seat will be an interesting one to watch. James Talarico facing off against Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton has quite a few scandals, so I think that will move the race from lean to tilt. Democrats are sitting at about a 40% chance of winning it, according to the betting markets, and I largely agree with that. I still think it'll be a Republican victory, and honestly, I could see it going in the lean red margin, but I think that if John Cornyn had been the nominee for the Republicans, that it would probably be in the lean red. But with Ken Paxton, definitely a lot more MAGA, more extreme, I think that it would narrow up to a tilt red victory. And then we're going to go to Democratic states now in the tilt blue column. Starting out with Alaska, I'm going to put that into the tilt blue column. This state, Mary Peltola is the Democratic Party's nominee. She's won on statewide level 4 for the House seat, and I think she can do it again this November. Then we're going to go to Michigan. This seat, the polling has improved for Democrats. I think if Republicans are going to win a seat, this is probably their best hope, are going to flip a seat at least. But that's going to be the call there in Michigan, and then ultimately Ohio will decide which party controls the U.S. Senate. I think the most likely situation at the moment is that it will be a tilt Republican. The state, similarly to Iowa, used to be very competitive. Obama won it. Obama won Iowa and Ohio, and those two states have since drifted further to the right. It will be interesting to see what happens during this Senate race. Sherrod Brown, the Democratic candidate, is actually a former senator. He was a senator for the other Senate seat in Ohio. He lost his election bid 2 years ago in 2024, and he is running again for the other Senate seat in the state of Ohio. So that's going to be a call there in the tilt red. And that is going to leave us with a 50-50 tied Senate. I meant to call that in the red. We're going to fix that with the state of Ohio. Going to put that state, anyhow, it's supposed to be red. That's going to leave us with a 50-50 split Senate with a Republican majority, with J.D. Vance being the tie-breaking vote. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.